I really want to ask you about the Piers Morgan interview, or I don't even know if you could call it an interview. It was a complete shit
Yeah,
show.
yeah, it was just
um,
fast.
was it? Did you talk to Piers before and after the show? I think you broke up on me again, Nathan. Can you hear me,
Sorry, I
Nathan?
cut out for a second there. Yeah, I don't know. That was probably a massive delay for you.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, did I talk to Piers before or after the show? So before, when I sat down in the chair, it was just like a couple of words. He just wanted to clarify the link between Extinction Rebellion and Animal Rebellion, which I did for him. And
What
he
is
said,
Extinction Rebellion?
so they're like, maybe like they're seen as like the OG of the new wave of environmentalist groups. They
Mm,
began in 2018, kind of, these kind of showpiece like descriptions in London, and became what was then kind of called in 2019 the single biggest influencer on climate. Um, so yeah, they were kind of a big kind of direct action, non-violent direct action group in the climate scene. Um, and yeah, Animal Rebellion was set up by a lot of people who'd been in Extinction Rebellion or on the fringes of Extinction Rebellion. So it was like there's always been like a kind of link between the two groups.
okay.
So yeah, asked me that. I know maybe it was just like he wanted to just gauge my demeanor or whatever before we got on. Maybe it was just asking me a question. Yeah, that was all. Then we did the segment, and then afterwards, like to be fair to him, he was quite a good sport about it.
Mm,
So like when we went off there, he like looked at me, and I was like, "Oh, fair play,"
mm,
um, which I wasn't expecting to be honest. Um, and then yeah, that was it. So yeah, not much interaction.
mm. Yeah, I think it is for Piers and the producers. It is more a show than it is an authentic reaction that he gives, right?
Yeah, I guess like on some things, I think there's like definitely a lot of personal bias behind it. Like I think like genuinely, he really dislikes vegans.
Mm,
Um, and then there's other things bound up in that. Like my judgment is he's quite a big misogynist. The way he treats women on the show versus the way he treats men is noticeable in my opinion. And then obviously when we look at like his hatred for Meghan Markle, I think that's definitely personal with him.
I haven't watched too much of Piers. Can you elaborate? Who's Megan Marco?
Meghan Markle, so Prince Harry's wife,
Ah,
who the British media have taken an intense dislike to. Piers Morgan being one of the faces of that almost movement of hatred towards her. And yet, any opportunity he has to bring her into a conversation that is not relevant at all,
mm.
he uses. Um, so yeah, it's just
Why
one
does
of
he
those.
hate
But
her?
your guess is as good as mine.
Huh.
There's a theory that she ghosted a message that he sent to her like 15 years ago or something,
Wow.
and
Okay.
then he's just holding that like vendetta against
Wow.
her.
Okay, that's interesting. Yeah. I like the concept of Piers Morgan uncensored, because I'm all for freedom of speech. I'm all for having conversations, which is why I love running this podcast and is why I wanted to talk to you. Um, what I really found annoying is he interrupts a lot, and you did not get a chance to speak out, which I found was really annoying.
Yeah, I'd agree with that. And I think that's why we took the approach that we did of comedy, knowing that, like, I think you see it in the interviews. There's like two or three times that I go to like make a very serious point
Mm,
in the midst of the comedy, and that is when he interrupts me.
mm,
When I'm doing the bit, bingo, he's like fairly happy to let that slide. But it's as soon as I'm saying something that he thinks like, oh damn, he's actually got a point here that I can't answer.
mm.
His defense is interruption,
Yeah.
you know. Um, which is something that he did when one of my good friends Orla went on the show back in August, no, September. I apologize. She went in with a very honest approach to him, and she was making really good points. She probably got to speak 15 seconds at the start, and then she couldn't get longer than about 4 or 5 seconds in before, boom, Piers speaking over her. Um, which is very sad to see. Is that
Mm.
there's just this pattern of when you try to be serious, you get interrupted. When you use comedy, you get called unprofessional. There's
Mm.
some ways there's no way to win that.
Yeah. Yeah, that is frustrating. I hate that. I love I really enjoy the shows where people can just have a debate and actually get a point across, right? It's
Hmm.
but I mean it is, his show is more for entertainment, I suppose, than an actual debate as we
Yeah,
discussed, right? So,
yeah, exactly. I think it's viewing it as like I don't know, it's going on like a comedy panel show almost
mm,
of like you're going on there to be content for them,
yeah.
and the only thing I have control over when I go on that show is what content am I creating for them?
Mm.
Is it the content that they want me to create, or is it the content that I want to create?